this plays into the whole persecution complex, because that's very important to Christian dogma, is this whole idea about being persecuted. All throughout the New Testament and the Old Testament, you see Christians being quote unquote persecuted for what they believe. I mean, you have the Jews being enslaved in Egypt just because they're of the one tribe, Israel, the guy that butt-fucked God in the desert. So in every aspect of the Bible, it's... What's up, heathens? How you guys doing? Hope y'all are doing all right. I know I'm doing really good. Got labeled an alt-right neo-Nazi again. That's fun. First, we have comments. It's Casey's favorite part because I get to read off all these dumb fucking comments in the best ways possible. All right, first up, just to kind of address the elephant in the room that probably you guys didn't notice. I don't subscribe to the alt-right Nazi apologists like Godless Engineer. And I suggest others, at least sane, rational people, stay away from him as well. I don't know how I'm an alt-right Nazi apologist. I've never been an apologist for Nazis or the alt-right. Actually, I found a post today where it was a meme where it said, share this if you see a Trump sign and you just flip off whoever's got it out in their yard. It was from last year around the time of the election. So I'm not alt-right. I don't know why people might think I'm alt-right, but apparently there's that perception. If you have a Pepe the Frog avatar, you're obsessed with an imaginary mass movement called the SJWs. And believe Jordan Peterson is just brilliant when he pounds the regressive left's claim of income disparity among races by informing people that income is linked to IQ, and since blacks have low IQs, they tend to have lower incomes. People like Godless Engineer might be right for you. Yeah, I know. He's only got 2 sentences. The second one is a paragraph. So there is a mass movement that's labeled the SJWs. I would definitely say that I fight for social justice. I'm very much a social justice advocate, and there is a mass movement that has been labeled the SJWs. We like to call them the radical social justice warriors because they're the radical end of the spectrum. The ones that are so anti-fascist, they've actually become fascist. It's that ridiculous. Next up, Jordan Peterson. I've never seen really any of Jordan's work. I don't know any positions he may hold or anything like that. But if he's part of the alt-right and he argues for the alt-right, I am not going to support anything that he pushes. So the regressive left's claim of income disparity. There is an income disparity, and it is heavily cited against the African American community. I'm not going to try to speculate why that is. I do know that it is that way, but I in no way think that black people have a lower IQ, and that in turn causes them to have lower incomes. I do not think that at all. None of this right here is based in reality. They are not things that I actually think. It's a little sad that I have to address this, but apparently there's a group of people that think that I think these things exactly. All right, so Joe Sinikowski. I don't know how to pronounce your last name there, Joe. But he says, "We don't see evolution. I know you believe it with all your heart." Gee, that sounds like the definition of faith. Little bit. Joe, there's no faith required in evolution. We have the evidence to support evolution. Like, while we cannot actively see evolution in the way that you want it to be presented, that doesn't disprove evolution or make it a faith-based thing. You want to see evolution by a dog crapping out a cat who then vomits up a deer. Like, that is legit what you think evolution is, and it's just simply wrong. It is a bit disgusting there, Casey. But it doesn't require faith because we have evidence. Actually, there was recently a study where bacteria has been collected over time, and it's up to 68,000 generations. This has been going on since the late 90s. And the fact that you can see how the bacteria changed across time is evolution. Now, because that bacteria didn't transform into a human fucking being, he's going to say it's not evolution. It's still evolution, though, because the bacteria changes over time. Oh, look, here's another pretentious asshole. I started your video prepared to get a good laugh. But I have to admit I turned it off after the first 3 times you said forehead, lampooning an African-American man who had clearly said forehead. You might get some backlash from online and maybe even at work. Please be more circumspect, John, and perhaps a little more humanistic. So, in the video where we talked about the seal of God, it was a black guy who was talking about how the seal of God's on your forehead, and that's how you can know that you're marked by God and not have the mark of the beast. And so in the video, I was jokingly saying, like, oh, you mean it's right here in your forehead? Like, it was not because, like, if he had been white, I would have said the exact same fucking thing. Yes, this is Reddit. Like, he's making it about the guy being black. I never made it about the guy being black. Like, that was never a thing. Like, I say forehead, like, let's see, I think the one thing that I think about is actually an ICP song, where I think the lyrics were like, I'm gonna make you mo dead or something like that. So it's like, I'm gonna hit you in the forehead, I'm gonna make you mo dead or something. Like, that's what I always think about. I don't know, I'm stupid. But, like, it is in no way non-humanistic for me to, say that word or anything. This is when people like to make things about race when it really isn't about race. The Lord is almost here. He says, Sojourn meal. Identifying as a Christian and being born again are 2 entirely different things. Once you're born again, you know the truth and can't abandon it. So basically you're saying that there are no Christians that were born again that are now atheists? Because, I mean, like, I believe Jerry DeWitt was a born again Christian and now he's an atheist. I mean, you can be, quote unquote, born again and still come out an atheist. I mean, just because you're born again doesn't make it any more special. It just means you recommitted your life to Jesus and all this other stuff. Like, I never really got that. Like, I never got being born again. I never understood, being saved by Jesus. Like, all of those things, like, I just couldn't understand any of that shit. So it escapes me here how you can, like, a born again person can't be an atheist. Like, there's no way that is a sound logical argument. It's a No True Scotsman is what it is, because he would go into basically saying that if there's an atheist that claims to be a born again, then they weren't really a Christian, and that's just a No True Scotsman fallacy. A page follower, because this is going to be replayed. Josh, a page follower of mine just said that, he was a born again Christian and now he's an atheist. So, booyah on you, motherfucker. All right, this is good old Pastor Greg Locke. I love me some Locke stuff. Pastor Greg Locke. It takes real courage to stand up and speak out for the gospel of Jesus Christ in this hostile culture. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Amen. And so I just responded with, you mean the culture that is 70% Christian? Because our culture, the American culture, is 70% Christian. Like, the nuns are growing, but it's still 70% Christian. So I don't know what you mean that it's tough to stand up and speak out for the gospel when you're the majority of America. Maybe the nuns shouldn't eat so much food? Oh, the nuns are growing. You shouldn't eat. This plays into the whole persecution complex, because that's very important to Christian dogma, is this whole idea about being persecuted. All throughout the New Testament and the Old Testament, you see Christians being quote unquote persecuted for what they believe. I mean, you have the Jews being enslaved in Egypt just because they're of the one tribe, Israel, the guy that butt-fucked God in the desert. So in every aspect of the Bible, it's in there that Christians, Jews are persecuted by the world at large because they are God's chosen people. And they would argue that this world is of the devil, or the devil controls this world, or whatnot. That's another central aspect to the dogma. So that's it for the comments today. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you heathens later. Don't forget to stand up, use your voice. Bye, heathens.